Oh, Marie. Come in for a fresh cut today. 10 seconds, Carol. Hit it. Oh, you did hit it. We're recording. Hi there. Hi. Hi. And now, the two-time winner of the Pennsylvania Association of Broadcasters Award and the two-time winner of the Pennsylvania Associated Press Broadcasters Association Award to promote and advance the craft and microbrew culture in Northeast Pennsylvania. It's another edition of
The Friday Beer Buzz! And the Friday Beer Buzz powered by Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Exeter. One of the area's greatest selections of rare craft and imported beers. Crowlers and growlers, a hand pump.
Oh, my.
And 36 rotating drafts at Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar, Wyoming Avenue in Exeter.
It's like the intro to Riffing with Freddie. It gets me every time, and I don't know why. Lindo Sabatini in the studio.
Good morning.
Lindo, you followed a school bus up here? You had some traffic issues today, did you?
Whenever I think I'm doing well,
you're ahead of the...
make it here on time.
Yeah.
I'm all right. I got a lot of time. Then the school bus pulls right in front of me, and I stopped 16 times in 2 minutes.
Well, we're glad you made it. Bill from mybeerbuzz.com.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Bill.
Lindo, give us a roundup on Wednesday night. Sounds like Wednesday night was a ton of fun.
Wednesday was a blast.
Good time?
Oh, it was fantastic. The Free Will and Prairie event.
Yeah.
We had a really good turnout and some great beers. Just was a lot of fun.
Excellent. All right.
And speaking of free will,
right to it. Here we go.
We have a guest from Perka CPA, our head brewer, Jeff Mumbauer. Welcome to the Friday Beer Buzz, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, how's it going?
Oh, good. Glad you're here.
So, Jeff.
Pleasure to be here.
Jeff, Free Will started in 2010-ish, opened finally in January of 2013. Back in the day, you were an 800 square foot facility, and you did about 3,250 barrels a year. A lot has changed since then. Give us an update on Free Will.
Well, to say the least, a lot has changed. We're progressing all the time. We've expanded extremely up in our new facility, so we've got an additional 20,000 feet on the upstairs portion of the building where our brewery is housed. So the entire downstairs facility, we've transformed into, a sense, our sour cellar. So that's where all of our wild fermentation occurs. Upstairs in the upstairs facility, we have all of our clean beer, and that's really expanded as of right now.
And how big's the facility?
Total square footage that we operate out of is probably just a little under 30,000 square feet now in the building.
So I'm not a mathematician, but from 800 square feet, that sounds like a pretty good increase.
To say the least. I mean, we've got all sorts of shiny new toys, lots of tanks.
Nice.
It's a really nice thing.
How big is the brew house now?
We operate on a 15-barrel brew house.
Wow, okay. So, yeah, you've made quite a leap. You have a tap room as well, correct?
Yep. We have a tap room 7 days a week. We're open, so we have 18 beers on tap, 15 on standard CO2, as well as 3 nitro beers. And we also are able to sell wine now, which is a nice little feature.
And you have food trucks, or do you have food on premise?
On weekends, we have food trucks. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have a rotating list of different food trucks from the Philadelphia and Lehigh Valley area. In addition to that, we welcome people to bring in food from outside sources.
And the number one question I get about Free Will Brewing, believe it or not, is where does the name Free Will Brewing come from? What does it signify?
We often hear that. Many people think we're just ardent Rush fans, but that's not quite the case. For us, I mean, a lot of it comes down to, with craft beer and the explosion we've seen in its popularity, what we often say is we create these beers, and we hope with your free will you exercise it and choose our product. So we all have choices, and anymore it's a buyer's market. So for us, it's one of those things where we work really hard for the product we create, and we hope with your free will, you pick us.
And our free will is, you're gathering our free will today because we have 3 in front of us.
Yeah, we do.
You also you have a location in Lahaska at Peddler's Village.
Yes, indeed. So we just opened that up probably a little under 2 months ago now, so that's been really good for us. Peddler's Village is an awesome location, wonderful people over there. It's really nice to kind of diversify the draw for us. It's just on the other end of Bucks County, so we get some new faces. Some people might not have known what it is we are up to. They found out about us. Plus, they do all sorts of really cool festivals over there, so it's an opportunity for us to just kind of have some fun.
And how wide is the distribution for Free Will?
Well, at this point in time, we operate throughout the state of Pennsylvania. We are in the 5 boroughs of New York and in the greater Boston area. And we have plans to get ourselves back into New Jersey sometime next year if all goes well, and then possibly beyond in the future.
Bottles and kegs?
Bottles and kegs at this point. Canned is, I think, an inevitability. That just seems to be the way the craft beer market has gone. So it's something we're looking into preliminary right now.
So we have 3 in front of us today, and we've been discussing, at least I've been discussing in my head, the sequence here. But let's start with the Kragel. The Kragel is one that we've...
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, because we've already started with the Kragel.
I pre-started.
Tell us first about where does the name come from for the Kragel?
Well, our owner, John, he's got 2 young sons, and they're big movie fans of the Lego movie. So John, watching the movie with his kids, got a lot of laughs out of it. So for many of our names, we get chuckles out of just kind of having a little fun, keeping it lighthearted. So the Kragel was kind of inspired by the Lego movie. John was a fan, and we thought it'd be nice kind of just to play homage to that.
And this seems the perfect one to head to cans, I think, at least in my mind. But right now,
I would agree.
It's in 12-ounce bottles. Tell us about the beer itself.
So Kragel is kind of our take on a West Coast style IPA. So East Coast, you're going to get a little bit of a balance between malt notes as well as hops, whereas for the West Coast, it's going to be bone dry and have a heavy hop presence. So for us, you're going to get a lot of citrus notes. It's going to have almost like a juicy type hop aroma, and it's going to have a nice, fresh, dry finish.
And this is 6.6% ABV, and it's a really hoppy beer. This is 90 IBU.
Oh, yeah, and you taste every bit of them. I mean, I just always get excited when you pour it out into a glass and you get that aromatics up in your nose. I mean, it's very hop forward, and for me, that's just what I'd be looking for.
I was just going to mention that just as soon as we poured these a little while ago, that was the first thing, even as it sat down in front of me here, like, ooh, be lucky. Yeah, excellent.
You know you have an IPA in
better
front of you.
believe it, yes.
And what hops are we using here, Jeff?
So in this beer, what we do is we bitter it with Warrior, and then we have Columbus, Citra, Simcoe, as well as Calypso hops.
And they come out, the nose is really nice. Nose is nice and citrusy. There's a little dankness, a little resinous to the end of it.
Yeah, we
really
dry
nice.
hop it with Simcoe Citra, so that's where you're getting that.
And a really nice beer. And I've tasted this before, but it's a while ago. I swear from a couple years ago, it's a little bit different. It seems a little bit more hop forward.
Well, we've changed our dry hop regimen, so you get a much stronger presence in the nose. That's just improvements in our process.
So next we're going to throw a real curveball here from our taste buds. Taste buds are going to struggle here a little bit. We're going to move from the Kragel to a beer called Ollie. And Ollie's an oud brewing. It's sort of a Flanders style brown sour ale. First, let's go to the name. Where does the name Ollie come from?
Well, Syphil and Ollie, the sock puppet. So going back to what I was saying with the Kragel, we tend to have it lighthearted. We had some fun with it. So John, being a product of like the 80s and all that, 90s, he kind of came up with that culture of MTV and everything. So just paying homage, having some fun with the name.
And Ollie is on the label. There is a sock puppet on the label. This is
whatever.
What's a, yeah? What?
So Jeff, when you have like the creative meeting, when you're discussing what you're going to make, is that the same meeting where you discuss what you're going to call it, or is that something separate?
They're more or less separate. We've got up in the office a big sheet up there, and you just write names. So when you get inspired, you write a name. So it's kind of interesting to see a name pop up, and then maybe a year, 6 months, and then all of a sudden it shows up on a label.
Yeah, cool. That's excellent.
And for those tuning in from home, it is whatever is on the label.
Yes, it is.
Is there a lot of beer involved in naming some of these?
Yeah, we do a lot of R&D research in this happen after hours.
And this is an unusual size bottle. It's a 16.9 ounce cork and caged. It's corked, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So corked and crowned.
And is that because of the activity of the beer? Is it because of the carbonation of the beer, or is there another choice for that size?
We basically determined to kind of start corking and capping just on the sense that these bottles do very well for aging. So this beer already is 2 and 3 year blend, so it already has some age to it, but it could still continue to improve. So John had gone overseas to Belgium, and when he was over there, he went to some of the old school lambic and sour style breweries and got a lot of inspiration. So for us, this was one of those things where we saw this is what the Belgians are doing with products that age well. So we thought, why not do it ourselves?
And this one's going to take your taste buds for a little bit of a ride. This is a sour beer, but really nice, pleasant, dark fruit flavors to it, a little acidity to it. Tell us more about what you guys would use for the taste descriptors on this beer.
Well, you're going to get a malt forward, almost like you said, a little bit of a chocolate-type note and all that. And then the lactobacillus and pediococcus kind of give it a nice little pucker to it, but it's kind of strikes a nice balance between those sour, dark fruit notes as well as just a little bit of almost like a tartness. but it's very mild. You get a good tannic structure from the oaks because we've aged this in oak barrels as well as foeders. So really the thing is it's a roller coaster of different flavor profiles as it warms up and as you sip it. And also depending on food pairings, these styles of beer really do well to kind of offer a wide range of different flavor profiles.
I got to tell you, it really wasn't the collision I was expecting from the Craggle to this, actually. You know, I adapted very readily.
This is a really nice style. I know the Oud Bruins are really drinkable, for me at least. I like this beer a lot. This one is 7.9%, so this is a little bit stronger for an Oud.
I'm starting to feel a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
I am.
Next, we're going to, Jeff, we're going to jump into the deep end of the pool, and we have Ella. And again, let's first talk about the name for Ella.
So previously we had released this beer under a different name, but due to just essentially other breweries kind of having some trademarks and all that, we went to switch it up. So Ella is actually the name of one of John's rescue dogs. So we have another beer called Ralphius, which is named after Dominic, our other owner's rescue dog, and that's a Russian Imperial Stout. So when we came back to having to rename this beer, we kind of were sitting around thinking what would do well, and having one beer already named after a rescue dog, and we're all big dog lovers over at the brewery, so it kind of seemed like a natural fit.
This beer is a Belgian quad.
This is delicious.
So, you know, when we say quad, that means typically 4 times the malt. 4 times the malt means 4 times the fermentable sugar. And so, boom, this is a 12% ABV beer. So talk a little bit about the beer itself and about the Belgian quad style.
So Belgian quads, I mean, it's falling right in line with the long tradition of brewing. The Belgians, they've got the doubles, the triples, as well as the quads. So for us, this is our own take on a nice traditional type style of beer. We age it in apple brandy barrels for about an entire year. So when you talk about double or triple and quadruple the malts, for me that just means somewhat quadruple the work, because mashing in this beer, as you see, over 12%, there's a high amount of labor. I do a lot of stirring on this beer just to make sure everything kind of gets nice and homogenized in the mash tun. But it's a really great style. It offers a lot of dark fruit notes. You're going to get some dates and plums and raisin flavors. And then in addition to that, it's going to have almost just like a nice little apple brandy quality from the barrels we age it in. So this is a beer that last year had won a gold medal at FOBAB, the Festival of Barrel-Aged Beers in Chicago. And then this year, we were able to bring home a bronze medal. So it's really nice to see the hard work and the beer continuing to inspire as well as win medals.
When I was at the brewery last year, one thing that really impressed me was some of your foeders downstairs. How many foeders do you guys have now?
At this point in time, we have 6 foeders. And each one of those holds about 45 hectoliters, roughly about 30 barrels.
A lot of beer.
Or about 2,000 gallons. So, yeah, needless to say, a lot of beer. And they're all full right now at this point in time. So it's really nice to see the sour cellar expanding.
Jeff, I got to tell you, I'm glad you went ahead and converted that, because I was starting to Google hectoliters over here. We're enjoying the Craggle, an IPA, Ollie and Ella, and they're all great beers from Free Will Brewing, and Jeff Mumbauer is the head brewer. Jeff, thank you for being on our show this morning. Great beers.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Jeff.
So long.
The Friday Beer Buzz is powered by Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Exeter, one of the area's greatest selections of rare craft and imported beers. Growlers and Crowlers, a hand pump, and 36 rotating drafts at Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar, Wyoming Avenue in Exeter.
The Friday Beer Buzz, bringing good beers and good people together.